Hello, so we'll be doing a session with the GTO wizard, so we'll be playing our 10 free hands for today. So we're doing a 6 max cash game with NL500 GTO general. We're gonna be playing post flop and will be any pre-flop action. So first hand we're gonna be up against cutoff as the big blind. Basically they raised pre-flop and we called. So in this situation I might have go with a check. And then being faced with another check and obviously there is no flushes now, so I might go for like a 50% stop in a normal game. That's probably a mistake because we were supposed to be check again and very rarely we could have do a little bet. But the EV wasn't that bad actually. Basically this was a small bet flop. Let's see the next one. So top pair, not very good kicker. What happened here is we got called and then we checked. So basically we have a capped range, so that's the small blind if they're doing that. So checking as in position player here would mean that they might not have the top pair basically, and it's possible both to go with a check and 75%. Let's go aggressive. And now we have a king turn, which is not good for us, but since they called pre-flop it shouldn't be the best for them as well. So we can check back and call the river. This is how I would do against basically a real player in a game. And now we have a queen. That's probably foldable if we bet here, so we can do like a little value bet or we can just check. Either should be fine. And that was a mistake basically, so that was 100% check according to GTO, because we lost some very little EV in that occasion, but should have been a check. So on the turn was a must check as well, very rarely a little 1/3 stop, and then we had yeah, that was a check or a raise in the flop side. And now we have the a6 4.5 blinds, so basically we got raised. Oh, we only got called. No, this was a UTG raise. We are the UTG and we raised from early position and we got called by the big blind who is defending at the moment. So ace top pair, we can check that one. Now we are on a flush draw, there is a full house possible as well, and we can go with a little stop here and a J. So that was either a small bet or check. We did check. Kings and jack, and we got a small bet. That's probably a fold, but let's call it because we have the pocket pairs. So there is a flush draw, and let's see what the enemy does. We're defending as the big blind and it's a double barrel against us, and now they're just checking. So we could have raised and we could have raised again on the turn, and then it was a must check on the river. Sixes on T8 to rainbow. Well, we can check, doesn't have to go aggressively, even though in a real game you can bet on the flop and then you can turn the hand into a bluff by the river. So we got a small bet, 25%, and we have to call this. Now there is a straights possible, so that is the big blind and we raised as a hijack. He might have the ace 5, also might have the 5-6 suited, and that's probably foldable sometimes. Jack 10, and that was a correct move, so we could have raised on the flop, could have only call on the turn and call or all in on the river. Fold was also okay. Most of the time call was fine, and very rarely we can overbluff it. Queen jack top pair, good kicker, and that's flush draw, basically. Yeah. Street on board, and then what can we do? It's like straights are possible as well, and jack. Probably we need to check it. And that's another card that is contributing towards the straights. Now even 9-6 is making the straight, which is not the needs in that situation. Or we can check again. And that's a 7, so we can bluff this line. And now we got raised, so we should probably fold here, and that's probably the best thing. So we should have bet on the turn, and it was a must check on the river. So set of jacks, and we got 4 bet by the small blind with a very small bet that is, so we can raise it, but it's gonna chase them away. Doesn't look like they have the needs here, so we can just call it. They might be on a straight draw, so we have to be careful. King queens are pretty scary here, so we can either see what's gonna come on the river with a check, or we can try to chase them away, not to make the straight a flush. Let's check. Queen, so only a king they need to make the needs, so we need to check it. And we should have bet on the turn in this situation, so obviously they were on the flush draw, even though it was the needed hand would be king queen, and king queen suited would make the best nuts here, given that the river can be a diamond as well. Even like a 10 diamond would make the royal flush. But yeah, we should have gone a little bit more aggressive on the turn, since we were facing a flop bet that was very small, like 20% on the flop, and then check on the turn from out of position player. So ace king on ace 5-4 board, so we are the big blind defending against the button. Basically they raised us, we re-raised and they called, so they decided to slow play it. So one way we can do it is just jam it here, so their range is gonna be very strong. They might have the kings, they might have queens, but 2-3 is very unlikely card for them, so we can start with a check. We can do a delayed stop basically. So now we're having a card that is not helping either of us, so we can do a 75% bet on the turn, and we're gonna get called. So now that's a very interesting spot because we have a flush here, so we need to check it and then call. Okay, so On the flop we did a check, it was okay move, 11% of the time, bet 50% was the other part, and 75% was the most reasonable. That's what I thought, like oversized bet all in, or just like 3/4. And then what came was the 7 on the turn. It didn't help them, didn't help us pretty much. So we did like the 75%. We could have done the oversized bet. We did okay here. And at the end we just checked because we were facing 3 diamonds, so they might have had flush. But overall we did great. Basically we had a good blocker. We could have bluffed this time. So what happens is if they have, let's say, it's difficult to imagine a hand that is gonna go this far into the river that can potentially lose to higher flush. So let's say they have something like 7-8 suited. So 7-8 suited, obviously blocking itself is not gonna make a flush, so it needs to be 9-8, let's say, or like any aces. No, cannot. So let's say it's like difficult to find such a hand, but let's say it's like a 9-8 suited and it's diamonds, so it would make sense for them to check on the flop. But once we bet here, they should have been fleeing that hand on a flush draw, and once they come here they might bet behind us, but we can raise them, and since they don't have the best flush possible, we can easily fold them with an oversized bet, basically over bluffing the line. And that's because we have the ace diamond. So ace king, it's a small pot where the hijack against big blind, and TA2 is definitely something that can be in their range, so we need to be careful not betting too big, but this is probably a line we want to put pressure on. They're like a cut range, and that's gonna result in a fold. We could have even put more pressure, sizing up the bet, but since they called behind, they might have had those cards like a pair or a flush draw, basically. 9-8, and we're the big blind defending against the button that min raises. We have the mid pair, reasonable kicker, so we can check here. And then we got 60% bet on the basically a C bet. So, and it's an oversized bet actually. This is the total pot now is 12.4. The actual pot was 5.5. So against an oversized bet, we might want to fold this one. Folding is not a bad idea here. We could have called, we could have raised as well. Yeah, I thought of calling was fine. And that's about it for today. Slip up. So we did some blunders, 2 of them. Some wrong moves, 2 of them, and 1 inaccuracy, but most of it was correct, and even best moves we have 11. Thank you for watching, and let's see our worst hand, what happened. Basically we did a check on the flop, was supposed to go aggressive on the turn, but we did a check, and then we bet on the river when we were supposed to be checking. And what's the other one? The best hand is pretty much calling with a pocket pair. Okay, and then that's pretty much call. code check, and we can see the entire history. Doesn't show it to us, but here it is pretty much. And yeah, thank you for watching. We'll catch each other in another 10 hand session with the GTO, trying to beat it. And we'll be doing a series of those. See you in the next one.